All right, hello YouTube. Today I will be talking about Venom, the movie. I remember I remember there being talks of a Venom movie dating all the way back to 27, all the way back to 2007. Um, Wizard magazine, when Wizard magazine when it was still going on. Um, there had been discussions of a Venom movie, um, as far back as after Spider-Man 3. And, um, a lot of people obviously hated how Venom was treated in Spider-Man 3, myself included. It obviously looked, nothing like Venom. Um, he wasn't, he was Topher Grace as Venom, um, as Venom slash Eddie Brock. One of the biggest, miscastings of all time in my book. In fact, Topher Grace himself um, said that he was actually very, very disappointed um, with how Venom was treated in Spider-Man 3. From what I understand, he was a fan of the character as a kid, and he was expecting, from what I understand, um, he was expecting Venom to be taken, way more seriously than he ended up being. Um, and obviously, that wasn't the case. But yeah, no, so a Venom movie was in talks, for a very long time, um, obviously until, obviously until 2018, when Venom finally, hit theaters. I remember hearing, and I remember, waiting, I remember waiting, very, very eagerly. Um, I remember waiting, very, very eagerly to hear, like who was going to play Venom. And then the minute I heard that and then the minute that I heard that they got Tom Hardy to do it, I was like, oh, sold. Um, because I think I've said this in one of my other videos, but I very much consider Tom Hardy to be one of the best actors in Hollywood right now. He is such an incredible actor. He always delivers an incredible performance. Um, and I really have yet to see anything that I have not liked him in. I have yet to see, any role of his, that I haven't liked. Um, yeah, so Venom, this was obviously the jumpstart of Sony's Marvel, cinematic universe. They were obviously, trying to compete with the MCU with, the few characters that they had. Obviously, it didn't end up working out. Craven bombed, Madam Web bombed, Morbius bombed. Venom was obviously the only one that was considered a success, and that was obviously, well, two reasons actually. Um, Number one, Venom is obviously a very, very popular character. Um, and two, um, and two, um, um, and two, I think a lot of people wanted, I think a lot of people, after Spider-Man 3, and after, after after Venom was treated, the way that he was, I think a lot of people um, wanted to see Venom given, the justice, that he deserves. People wanted to see um, you know, a more, you know, realistic looking Venom from, from the comic books. Um, and this one, interestingly enough, and I know I talked about this in one of the previous videos that I did. Um, there was literally nothing keeping Sony. There was nothing, like legally, preventing Sony um, from bringing Spider-Man, into this into this universe. They just saw how well, the first Venom did, and then at that point, that they were just basically like, okay, well, I guess I guess we don't need to bring Spider-Man in then. Which I mean, Sony are just fucking idiots. But anyway, yeah, sorry. I've been talking about this movie for 6 minutes and haven't gotten into the actual review. So let me get into it. So Eddie Brock, obviously played by Tom Hardy, um, is a obviously is an investigative reporter. Uh, he is in a relationship with his fiance Annie, and um, he basically has he is basically at the point he is on the verge of like the story for a century, on like story of the century. Basically, um, he is about to interview Carlton Drake, who is head of I want to say the Life Foundation. Um, yeah, I want to say the Life Foundation. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the comments below. But I think it's the Life Foundation. And he is experimenting with symbiotes. And um, the movie opens obviously with obviously the symbiotes coming to Earth, and he is experimenting with symbiotes, and he believes Drake believes that human and symbiote are the next stage of human evolution. um except he is except all of the test subjects, all of the because obviously a symbiote needs to bond with a host in order to survive. So all the people that uh you know all the experiments have failed so far. He cannot find anyone. um he cannot find anyone, or he hasn't been able to find anyone strong enough to survive, um you know strong enough to survive the merger, or the merge. Um so Eddie Brock, suspicious of Carlton Drake's uh suspicious of Carlton Drake's experiments, and and his activities. um Tries to you know basically he confronts him when he's interviewing him, and tries to talk to him about all these allegations against Drake. And um and basically Carlton Drake has him thrown out. And at that point, he has him thrown out, even he has him thrown out. And that's when, and it costs Eddie everything, his career, his fiance, you know um uh just literally, like his entire life basically. And um and then he meets he meets a doctor, who ends up helping him. He meets a doctor who ends up helping him, and she's like, "Yeah, no, 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 you're absolutely right. Everything, everything that you've been saying is, everything that you've been saying, is 100% dead on." And um, and so so eventually, he ends up bonding with uh, Venom, and he can't, and Eddie, obviously has no clue, like what's going on. He has no clue. He has, like this voice in his head now. He doesn't know where that's coming from. Um, he, he basically has, superpowers now, obviously, because of the symbiote. And he's hungry all the time. He's hungry all the time now, obviously, because of the symbiote. um and he doesn't, um he just, he has no clue, what's going on. And obviously, one of the things about, symbiotes is that the minute that it bonds with you, it takes over your body. The symbiote, symbiotes, are a living thing. They are, symbiotes are alien type creatures. um are, if you're familiar with, the comics, or you've seen the movies, that symbiotes are, alien type creatures that need to bond to a host in order to survive. So, um and Venom has this, he learns that, and then when Carlton Drake obviously learns that, Eddie Brock has bonded with Venom, he doesn't understand, um how, um how it's possible. He doesn't understand why Eddie and Venom are such a good match, genetically. um he doesn't understand, how Eddie has been able, to survive, for as long as he has, because obviously, all the previous experiments, were failures. So, um, so, so Venom obviously, has a different, and when Eddie Brock, meets Venom, they obviously, at first, they obviously, like aren't getting along. Venom wants to, Venom has, at first, he has very, like evil intentions. He doesn't, um, he has very, like evil intentions. Um, he's not, he's not, he's not good, at least, when the movie starts out. But as he, but, as he gets to know Eddie, um, and his girlfriend's reaction, or his ex-girlfriend's reaction when she finds out that, what Eddie can do, is absolutely hilarious. um they eventually get to a point, uh towards the, at the end of the movie, Venom and Eddie form a, the one of the things that makes this movie so good is it's very much a buddy, it's very much like a buddy cop, um type movie. And if you've seen buddy cop movies, you obviously know, how those go. They meet, they start out, absolutely hating each other, and then by the end of the movie, they're like, the best of friends, and yada yada yada. That's pretty much, Venom and Eddie Brock's relationship in this movie in a nutshell. um and they, so by the end of the movie, he's like, okay, if we're gonna, if we're gonna do this, then, we need to lay down, some ground rules. You will, I have no problem with you sticking around, but if you're gonna stick around, you will only be allowed to eat, you will only be allowed to kill and harm, bad people. Um, Henceforth, Venom, the lethal protector. Um, yeah, this is, this is obviously one of those movies where, um, it's obviously, it's not a perfect movie. Um, there are a fair amount of, there are, like a fair amount of plot holes. The story, um, the story is, the story is, is a little bit on the weak side, but as someone who just, who absolutely hated how Venom was treated in Spider-Man 3, the the Venom the Venom movies, or the Venom movies were definitely, I think, they were definitely, a huge step up, compared to, Spider-Man 3. Like Venom is, Venom is, Venom, uh, other than not having, like the spider on his chest, or being able to shoot webs, or being able, like to shoot webs like he does in the, in the comic books, he still very much looks, uh, in fact, he really looks like Ultimate Venom. Um, he very much looks like Ultimate Venom in resemblance to, in terms of, like how he looks. And if you're familiar with the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, you know that in the Ultimate universe, when Ultimate Venom was first brought in, he didn't have the spider, on his chest. Um, he didn't have the ability to, shoot webbing. So Venom in this movie is very much a blend. While it is, still, while it is still an alien symbiote, um, in the movie, it's, Venom's powers in this, uh, in this movie is very much in line with, um, the ultimate, version of Venom. Um, so yeah, no, but it's just, it's just a fun, um, it's just a fun, it's just a fun, uh, buddy cop, let's go save the world type of, type of movie. Um, Riot, of course, is the main villain. Um, and yeah, it's just a fun, uh, it's just a really, really fun, buddy cop, popcorn type, type movie. Um, this movie made so much friggin' money when it hit theaters. It completely dominated. Um, it completely dominated, the box office, and obviously, ended up spanning, two more movies out of it. Um, and yeah, no, it's, it, um, it's, it's not a, as I said, it's not a perfect movie. But for what it is, it's just a really, really fun, it's just a really fun, it's just a really fun, like good time. If you just want to watch, Venom just, going around, being Venom, eating people, it's a fun time. Um, it's a fun time, and um, originally, originally I was very, very worried about, like how Venom was going to be handled in this movie, obviously, again, because of Spider-Man 3. And then, um, when the first trailer dropped, I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's Venom. That's how he should look. Um, but yeah, no, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've seen it and what you thought of it. I will be reviewing the other two in the trilogy at some point. Um, I'm gonna try to review the second one tomorrow. Venom 3, or Venom the Last Dance, which I just got in the mail yesterday, I believe. I have not seen it. I have not seen it, but I do plan on watching it and doing a review on it at some point. Um, so yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you saw it and what you thought of it. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.